So where do we look for, right? What is your main entry model? How do you approach the charts, right? So if we just kind of take price back a little bit, right? This is now the start of the session. This is 9:30 a.m. Eastern. So when I come to my charts, I am looking for 15-minute fair value gaps. This is step number one to my entry model, right? So I am looking for 15-minute fair value gaps. Why are 15-minute fair value gaps so important? Well, the reason for that is because 15-minute fair value gaps give you supply and demand zones, right? So 15-minute fair value gaps give you supply and demand zones. So let's just zoom into the price action and see what we had, right? So we actually had a 15-minute fair value gap resting over here. So this was our supply area. This was our supply zone just over here, right? So for those who can't see this, we have a small fair value gap over here, and our supply zone is going to be this buy to sell area just over here. This is what's important to understand, right? So why was this a high probability zone? Well, there's a few reasons for that. If we just go over to the left, what we can see is we can see price actually came into this fair value gap from the left, right? So we saw a bullish fair value gap over here. If we just extend that over to the right, we can see this is a demand to supply flip zone. So what this was, this was an area of demand which tried to drive price higher because demands tried to drive price higher, then we fail. So this is essentially a flip zone. Just for context, when you see a flip zone, this is a better zone to be trading from. So this is step number one. We've analyzed 15-minute fair value gaps, right? We've analyzed things on the 15-minute time frame. The next thing we're going to look for is a lower time frame entry. So typically my lower time frame entry will be the 5-minute time frame. You can use a 1-minute time frame as well if you want, right? So that's the second thing we look for. The third thing we look for is the order flow, right? The order flow is the third most important thing, and people always mess up with the order flow. But the question is, where does the power of